Welcome to a grey and temperate Zandvoort here for round 3 of the Formula 1 Dutch Grand Prix, which has always been a highlight of the Formula 1 calendar, sadly removed for 30 years. Returning again this afternoon, we're hoping that we can have more of the fabulous action that we have been able to bring you here on the rise of Ravenwest. The track itself is a difficult, quick, twisty, turny one. So however, what about we get one of the greatest of all time to take you round it? The Zandvoort track guide brought to you by the 7-time world champion, Michael Schumacher.
Now this was quite the spectacle just before Friday practice. Michael Schumacher taking his championship winning 94 Benetton out for a spin in the wet. The Rainmeister giving us a hot lap of the Zandvoort circuit and straight away into the first corner, a real commitment tester as he gets the braking zone just about right, going into turn 2, which is a bit of a short, sharp braking zone, and then you're back on the power briefly as you head into corner number 3, the big sweeper to the left. Some might take the outside line in the dry, it might give the slingshot effect when it comes to overtaking, so we'll see what happens in the race. Then these sweeping left, then right, full power, flat to the floor for these corners. Then this right-hander here, a little bit slower in the wet for obvious reasons, but Schumacher right on the edge of the grip here. Then you've got these two right-handers breaking the 50-yard line for both. Nails it on the first, coming up to the second one, also nails it here. Little nibble of the apex as well. We head into this short left-hander that leads to the second DRS zone of Zandvoort. Absolutely crucial, the exit that you get on this corner, as if you get it all wrong, you're going to have all the traffic all over you if you've got anything behind you. Then we come to the sharp right-hander and then a quick left in the grandstand section of the circuit as we lead into the final 2 corners, which are the most vital corners I feel on this circuit, because if you get your exit wrong on these 2, then you're going to be swarmed by anything that's behind you. Perfect stuff there from Schumacher, almost taking a little too much of curb, but then absolutely flying through that sweeper, nailing it down the line. You're going to be touching nearly 190 miles an hour as you get to the end, but that right there is a lap of the Zandvoort circuit from the Rainmeister himself. He's still got it, hasn't he?
No doubting about it, Michael Schumacher taking us through, and can his son Mick Schumacher mount a challenge for the Formula 1 World Championship? It's been a championship season that promised some exciting racing. Nico Hulkenberg's return and his point leader Lewis Hamilton is going to be a key factor in today's championship battle. And we're waiting for the race to get going, and the weather, we've been told, is rather changeable, but the grid itself was absolutely outstanding. Just 1 second separated the top 12, but the fastest of all today in the Mercedes was Valtteri Bottas. Max Verstappen in his home Grand Prix came through on second. Lewis is on the second row, next to him is Sebastian Vettel. On the third row, Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari and Nico Hulkenberg in the Ravenwest. Fourth row is Daniel Ricciardo, followed there by Mick Schumacher. Romain Grosjean beats Carlos Sainz into 10th as he gets 9th, and it turns out the 2 racing points are 11th and 13th. It's 16th is Esteban Ocon ahead of George Russell in the McLaren, who's 15th. Lando Norris and Zhang Zhou is down in last place. Sergio Perez and Nicholas Latifi in the Williams bring up the back of the grid. So we wait those to go on the Dutch Grand Prix. So the cars line themselves up for the start of the Dutch Grand Prix. You may know the procedure if you're just tuning in. They'll line themselves up in their grid positions. They'll watch for the lights. The 5 lights will appear. And once they go out, we're up and racing here in Zandvoort. Here come the lights. This is the key moment. Bottas on the right. On the left then is the hometown hero, Max Verstappen. And away they go here at the Dutch Grand Prix. Good start as well. Excellent start that's come through all the way there from Sebastian Vettel. Look at that. He's come all the way through. And Charles Leclerc also getting past. So Bottas leads. Max Verstappen is second. Both Ferraris going through, and Lewis Hamilton's been squeezed all the way down to 5th, and Hulkenberg has got through, and Lewis Hamilton's back down into 6th place. And look at Hulkenberg, absolutely absolutely flying at the moment. Now going side by side as he tries to battle there. Sebastian Vettel in the Ferrari. Brutal racing at the moment. And there goes Hulkenberg again, trying to make his move, but good defensive work at the moment. And we can also see here, so reminding me about Bottas leads, Max Verstappen is second, Charles Leclerc is third, Sebastian Vettel is fourth, Nico Hulkenberg is fifth, Hamilton is sixth, and Mick Schumacher is up to seventh, Daniel Ricciardo is eighth, Grosjean ninth, and Lance Stroll is 10th. That is the top 10 in his opening lap at the moment, and you can see it's a grey surface. The track itself looks a bit green as the technical turn. This is we're watching at the moment Lewis Hamilton being chased by Mick Schumacher. We saw his dad going round in a rather quick hot lap at the moment. And behind him is Daniel Ricciardo. So that is lap 1 completed of Zandvoort. Bottas, no surprise, setting the fastest lap, but right on his gearbox you can see there is Sebastian Vettel at the moment. So Max Verstappen, sorry. Charles Leclerc is in third, and Verstappen is fourth, and Vettel is fourth. And there looks to be a chance for Hulkenberg trying to go round the outside and making it stick in an astounding bit of carmanship and motor racing. That was absolutely brilliant. Hulkenberg has got through. So Nico Hulkenberg is up into fourth place. Now he's hunting down Charles Leclerc. And Trevor, what did you make of that start by Hulkenberg?
Well, he's been using that high side of the banking, and it's given him the slingshot effect on the outside. I think it's a faster line, to be honest, and his racecraft there was fantastic as we're on board with Verstappen trying to catch up to Bottas. You can see the power difference there on the straight. DRS not active until lap 3, but the banking, it'll be interesting to see on the final corner here what kind of line these guys take, but it's going to be a great overtaking opportunity for Verstappen. If he's going to have a go, I reckon it'll be now.
Yeah, through turn 13, now through the long right-hander, turn 14, up into the start-finish straight, and you can hear those wonderful V10s roaring away, and this is the power that is available, and you can see Hulkenberg just having a sniff. He's been able to catch Charles Leclerc, and Verstappen has got right behind Valtteri Bottas, who came so close to challenging for the World Championship in the previous season. But Verstappen here has got the hometown support, and there is something to be said about hometown support at your home Grand Prix. It's a case of does he have the right moments, and we're just watching one of the McLarens here, I think, make a move on the Haas. That looks like George Russell, if I'm not mistaken, although I usually am.
George Russell and Lando Norris having a ding-dong there, the two young Brits.
It's always good to see Norris, of course, former teammate, and doing well to defend. And we're back on with the aerial shot. The camera today is a well-known pilot, specialises in all these events, and our best wishes goes out to the pilot John Suttard. Not that he's done well, we just like to wish him well. It's always very nice to do. What do you think will be the main overtaking points of this circuit? It's a 14 track circuit, and here they go right round turn 14.
Well, this is probably the point. The banking onto the main straight. DRS is now open, so I think it's going to be a free-for-all for overtakes at this point. Hulkenberg made his way past Leclerc without DRS assistance on that banking. That Bugatti engine certainly has the grunt to make its way past. Definitely one of the more powerful engines. So it'll be interesting to see this sweeping section that goes left and right. How much grip have these guys got, and how much confidence have they got to make overtaking opportunities happen?
Well, maybe in this point Max Verstappen is thinking and biding his time and waiting for the right moment, as we're watching Daniel Ricciardo look to squeeze his way there through Mick Schumacher as they go through turns 4 and 5 and 6 before they break for turn 7. So that's an excellent move by Daniel Ricciardo. The Australian is through into 7th place ahead of Mick Schumacher, but now this is the battle for the lead, and this is where the action is at the moment. And when we look at the top 6, there is not a lot to separate the top 6 at the moment.
Well, you've got this DRS zone, which essentially bridges the gap a little bit before the final couple of corners, and you can see how close Verstappen is now. He's going to get a real chance, a real slingshot opportunity going out that final corner down the home straight, and those Dutch fans are going to go absolutely mental if he makes it stick.
But he'll have to watch out, because sitting right behind him is Nico Hulkenberg, and we know there's your maximum power that Bugatti engine has and just what it delivers at the moment. And the DRS is opened up, and you can see there the front wings have gone to both, but not able to catch, but getting closer and closer. I wonder if the drive was just slightly affected the fact that Verstappen at the moment has got Nico Hulkenberg behind him. but if I've said it once, I'll say it 1,000 times, and I'll say it all the time. Catching somebody is one thing, overtaking them another, and here at Zandvoort is very difficult to do so, but this is a moment in which Verstappen's looking to make his move. Can he make it stick as they go through turns 4, 5 and 6, and he's got the leverage and brakes and goes into 7, and that's an excellent overtake by Max Verstappen, and the Dutch fans here are going absolutely ballistic, and you can understand why, and Hulkenberg gets past Valtteri Bottas. So Bottas was not able to hold up Hulkenberg, and both Ferraris and Lewis Hamilton, his teammates, are all involved in this. But look at the way in which the Red Bull is flying away, and now coming back at the moment is Charles Leclerc, looking to get past, and Charles Leclerc squeezing his way through. Fantastic stuff. Leclerc has got past as well, and now this is an opportunity. Does Sebastian Vettel think he can get past Valtteri Bottas? Absolutely brilliant racing at the moment, but so far that Mercedes is suffering, and the gap itself really isn't a lot. It's a second at the moment that Verstappen has been able to pull out on Hulkenberg. As for everybody else at the moment, it is deadly, deadly close. I have never seen a race start this close as we have seen at the moment. Barely a second separating second place through to 6th at the moment. And this is the battle we're watching for 3rd place. And now this is the battle for the lead. And look at Nico Hulkenberg. He's done fantastic well there to catch up Max Verstappen.
Well, this Mugen versus Bugatti engine. Of course, you remember at the start pre-season the debacle between the engine suppliers. Red Bull taking over the Honda IP, taking the engine away from Ravenwest. So Ravenwest went and got Bugatti, and both of them here at the front of the grid. Quite the turn of events that I don't think anyone saw coming.
Well, the Mugen Honda engine does have its works name, and it has been involved in Formula 1 before today. But under that Red Bull guys and Adrian Newey's team, is this their opportunity? Now, here is an opportunity for Hulkenberg, who will look to try and make the opportunity through turn 13. I think he's lost a little bit of time. The question is, when the DRS opened, just how much more powerful is that Bugatti engine? The gap was under 0.2 of a second, and with absolute ease, Hulkenberg is able to get past the hometown hero, and it's with great sportsmanship that he is supported and acknowledged by the Dutch fans. But now the changes, because to the point of leading at the moment, Hulkenberg now has to defend because DRS is completely on the side of Max Verstappen.
Indeed, and you can see, look, Verstappen isn't letting go. He's sitting right on his tail through these corners. Very, very brave driving here, because you make a tiny mistake here and you're off into the barrier at high speed.
Pierre Gasly has got past Daniel Kvyat to take 13th place at the moment, but the battle and the action is between the top two. Charles Leclerc is just starting to pull away the gap at the moment, and I suspect Bottas at the moment maybe holding up Vettel and Hamilton. It'll be a case of, can the two of them get through? This will be a chance for Verstappen. That the DRS zone just allows him to close up through 11, that long sweeping left-hander into turn 12, and now the power is flying on. We're on board at the moment on the Ravenwest, and we're on board at the moment, and we're watching Nico Hulkenberg look to fly. Right behind him at the moment is Verstappen. Now it's open. This will be the opportunity for Verstappen. He'll jink and he'll stay. Well, look at the power. What was it that stops the Red Bull there from making the move? Well, it may not be the case, because you're going to try and get it there as they make their way through into turn 3, but the door is shut firmly by Hulkenberg, and Nico Hulkenberg is continuing to pull out a bit of a gap, and he's got to maintain it. And look at Leclerc getting involved. Leclerc also in it, and the Red Bull at the moment on Max Verstappen getting closer and closer and closer, and it's just amazing. And there goes the opportunity. Could this be the chance? Round the inside. Is there a chance of powering through on the overtake? Fantastic stuff. Side by side again.
Look at Leclerc. Look at Leclerc. He could sneak up on both of them.
3 abreast into the first corner. Oh, that's out. That's out. That's Leclerc. Well, it looked like he smashed his front wing and he stopped. Yellow flags, and our safety car has been called. Oh my word, Charles Leclerc doing so well, got himself involved in the battle, and Leclerc sadly is out of the Dutch Grand Prix. He's being lapped at the moment by everybody on the grid. Leclerc is out, safety car is in, and everybody's pitting at the moment.
Everyone in the pits are taking the opportunities to get rid of their first stint. Here we go, battle of the pit stops. Verstappen in with the quickest pit crew in Red Bull. But look at this, they're all double stacked. He's been held up.
Oh my word, this is unbelievable. Look at this, and you just wonder yourself at the moment just what's going to happen. And for me, it looks like Bottas has stayed out. So Bottas has elected to stay out in the safety car period. And we'll wait for the grid to form up from that, but that was absolutely carnage, Trevor.
Everyone obviously got the call to box, and teams were double stacking it. It just caused a major traffic jam. But look at the order of play now. Bottas leading, Hulkenberg second. George Russell in the McLaren is third, ahead of Hamilton. Alex Albon in a Haas is fifth. Verstappen has fallen all the way down to sixth in amongst all that chaos. Stroll is seventh, Sainz eighth, Gasly ninth, and Schumacher is in 10th. So complete bedlam in the pits has completely jumbled the order now. What this will do to the strategy for everyone else, I do not know. Bottas staying out seems like the smart decision because he didn't get caught up in that horrific traffic jam in the pit stops.
Well, it's been an absolute masterclass in pit strategy. Bottas has stayed out, and he looks like he's going to go on. But Nico Hulkenberg and George Russell, Lewis Hamilton, big winners in that situation. Lewis Hamilton, big losers. Sebastian Vettel is back out in 12th place after that horrible pit stop, but with the speed of that Ferrari, wondering if he can get through. Roman Grosjean eventually 11th. He was forced to sort of double stack. And here is the McLaren and George Russell. Some have said he could eventually be the heir to Lewis Hamilton's throne. Definitely a man who has a lot of talent and looking to sort of show it this afternoon. The safety car is out, and we're waiting for race control to bring it in. But at the moment, what did you make of the incident that eventually means that Charles Leclerc has been forced to retire, Trevor?
Well, it looked like he outbraked himself going into that sort of second to last chicane section that we get at the back end of the circuit. I don't know if we'll get a replay of it, but oh, here we go. So we've got a replay of it now. So look, they're basically three wide at this point. It'll be interesting to see what happens. He sort of goes for a gap which isn't really there. Does he outbrake himself? Yeah, he's just outbraked himself and gone into the back of Hulkenberg.
I am stupid. I switch off everything.
Clearly not happy with himself either. Look at this angle from Verstappen. This is fantastic. You see there's three wide. Any puff of smoke from the tyres? Yeah, definitely a mistake that Leclerc made, and he's owning it, to be fair to him.
Well, did that damage Nico Hulkenberg's car? That might be a question which we will find answered in due course. But you can see from there Hulkenberg did not turn in. He maintained his line. So the mistake there was Leclerc's, and Charles Leclerc is the only retiree. If you're joining us, we're on lap 10 of 36 of the Dutch Grand Prix, and the sun has come out at long last, and still a bit of debris in the corner where Leclerc has gone off the track, but the sun is out, and the choice of tyres will also be important. George Russell there at the moment is sitting on a different tyre choice. He is on the medium compounds, but a change for Hulkenberg, who is on softs, but he's on fresher softs than Valtteri Bottas.
Safety car coming in this lap, so we're about to hit the loud pedal.
So the loud pedal is pressed. We're back under and racing here in Zandvoort. There has been carnage in the pits at the moment, and Valtteri Bottas is back in the lead, but right behind him is Hulkenberg, who is on fresher tyres, even though they've only gone in, and I wonder if that's a mistake, or is it a great tactical move by Valtteri Bottas. He wasn't able to hold off Nico Hulkenberg for long in the race. Wonder if he can do so today. George Russell doing fantastically well, maintaining that pace and growing a gap there to Lewis Hamilton. So as things stand, McLaren are on for a podium, and now here on for some great racing is Hulkenberg, who's trying to find a way past Bottas. Might be able to do it, goes scarily close right on the inside. Bottas backs him away, and Russell's also involved. Lewis Hamilton also involved in the battle. So Mercedes, Ravenwest, McLaren, Mercedes, that's the top four. Here is Hulkenberg trying to make his move, and they're going to brake really heavily into the right-hander, and it looks like they're just exchanging side by side. Hulkenberg is through, and George Russell looking to get through. George Russell, fantastic move that is, absolutely magnificent as they climb through into turn 13. Excellent from the man in the McLaren, and the Brit flying. Russell is through, and now we ready to see through into lap 12. Hulkenberg leads. Russell at the moment is in second place. Valtteri Bottas is in third, and Lewis Hamilton sitting behind him, and Verstappen has made his way up to fifth.
Well, Verstappen's had a monstrous restart lap, which has put him in a great position. But George Russell, an inspired tyre choice to start on the hards. Here is Verstappen going on Lewis Hamilton on this section. This is brave.
Oh, excellent, excellent again by Verstappen. Absolutely brilliant, full commitment, and that is fine racing. Absolutely fantastic stuff there. So Lewis Hamilton down into fifth place. Max Verstappen up into fourth. Quite brilliant. And we're watching at the moment from the back of the grid. That's Lance Stroll at the moment that's chasing Lewis Hamilton. I don't wish to sound surprised or insulting there. And we're now watching the conflict at the moment between Verstappen and he has got past Bottas. So now it's just George Russell ahead of him, who's on those harder compound tyres. So in terms of the strategy, does this allow George Russell to stay out longer?
Well, he might be able to stay out longer. He's not going to have as much grip though. Look at this, there's a Racing Point making a move on Lewis Hamilton.
Well, we mentioned before about last year's Mercedes winning. At the moment, last year's Mercedes under Lance Stroll is flying again past Lewis Hamilton. A quite brilliant bit of driving that was. And Hamilton at the moment is struggling, and this is Verstappen. This seems to be the favourite moment, that sort of kink as they make their way through to long turning turn 7, and there goes Verstappen, and now he has Nico Hulkenberg in his sights, and the man is utterly inspired today.
Well, he's just got more grip, hasn't he? Those fresh soft tyres against hard tyres that have been going for 13 laps. He's definitely going to have more grip, but Russell's doing really well to stay in the fight in the podium positions on those tyres. As here comes Verstappen again.
Now, big turn, big break, easy, has to yield Hulkenberg. Oh, he looked like he's just going to go off, and they're so close, and he squeezes the way back on Nico Hulkenberg, and that brings George Russell back into the conversation in the McLaren. Make their way through into turn 13, the banking right-hander. This will be the key moment. What's the power like in that Mugen Red Bull as into the pits at the moment? We're waiting to see who is that. But there goes Verstappen past Hulkenberg. So Max Verstappen now leads the Dutch Grand Prix again. I confirm it was Bottas who's come into pit, and that's going to be disastrous. And look at George Russell. Just for a second looked like he was going to make a move on Hulkenberg, but Verstappen here getting to lap 14, and here comes Hulkenberg coming back again. Ah! So close, these two side by side, and there goes Hulkenberg again, and Verstappen refusing to yield, and the two drivers here at the moment engaged in a real combat, and there goes Hulkenberg again, and you can't separate these two. This has been outstanding, but every time they battle it brings the lead up. There goes George Russell closing up. Look at Lance Stroll in that Racing Point doing wondrous at the moment, and Hulkenberg's doing everything he can do to hold up. Sainz has got past Hamilton, who retakes the position, and there goes Hulkenberg. He's past Verstappen. Is he? You never know between these two, but the racing itself has also brought the Racing Point involved, and a virtual safety car has been called out. There's got to have been an accident somewhere on the track, Trevor.
Looks like Daniel Kvyat, perhaps. He's just dropped through the order quite rapidly. Get the feeling one of the AlphaTauri's engines might have...
out.
Albon? Albon's bit the dust then. There was a slow... Kvyat's just dropped all the way down the order. I wonder if he got caught up in some kind of accident there. But curiously as well, there's a bit of damage to the left-hand side pod of Nico Hulkenberg's Ravenwest. I wonder if him and Verstappen have come to blows in those exchanges. He's side by side here. They're not allowed to overtake, but he's making sure that Verstappen doesn't have any space.
Hulkenberg is vastly experienced and knows the game. Oh, look at that! It looks like there was a collision there between Verstappen as Hulkenberg trying to sort of go too wide, and has that damaged the Ravenwest. And wow, would you believe this? Hulkenberg is back up and running again, but that was incredible.
Yeah, there was a bit of front wing damage there. Virtual safety car is now no longer in place, so it's back up to free racing there. But I think Verstappen may well have just got the elbows out for the virtual safety car. You're not sitting next to me, sunshine. I'm not letting you have the jump. And well, he showed Hulkenberg those really massive curves in that sector too.
So what damage will this do to Nico Hulkenberg? He's still got the power. That Bugatti engine is absolutely flying through to the start-finish straight. DRS is open. They'll have too much, you suspect, there for Verstappen, who's gone very, very tight on the inside, and it was forced there Hulkenberg to go wide, and that's excellent defensive driving there by Max Verstappen, who's hold up the position as we're starting to edge towards the halfway mark of this Grand Prix. We've had one round of pit stops. Hulkenberg with the fastest lap to his name, but he at the moment is not the fastest car. That's Max Verstappen, who is holding him off with just about everything available. It's that Mugen Red Bull holding off the Bugatti Ravenwest. We really are in the midst of a brilliant conflict, if you like, between these two as they try to find their way through. Third place is still George Russell. Lance Stroll is involved in that, and now is almost Carlos Sainz, his McLaren teammate. And now this is a chance for Hulkenberg. Can he squeeze his way through? Verstappen going defensive, and once again the two of them going out for a little bit of ploughing, but Verstappen is holding it off. And well, this has been an outstanding drive at the moment from Max Verstappen, who's starting to put out a little bit of a gap after that little exchange through turn 13 and 14 into the start-finish straight. They will complete lap 16. They will start lap 17, and Max Verstappen's lead is 0.2 of a second. And at the moment, this is proving to be one of the most exciting Grand Prix that we have seen for a long time here on the Virtual Sports Network.
Well, I say a long time ago, it's only been a couple of weeks since the last race, which was exciting in itself. But there's definitely been some physicality between these two. There's definitely damage to that end plate on the Ravenwest, but it's not slowing him down at all, is it?
Well, Hulkenberg has been involved in many forms of motorsport, and he really is bringing in a little bit of rally class in the way in which he's driving that Bugatti Ravenwest wide and using every ounce of curb and kicking up a bit of grass that's going through, and the ice-cool blood running through the veins of Max Verstappen as he does everything possible when Hulkenberg goes wide. Oh, and a slight lock-up there by Verstappen. You always remember one of the great sort of races and one of the great moments of drivers holding up their opponents. Ayrton Senna holding up Nigel Mansell in the 92 Monaco Grand Prix, and it was little things like slowing ever so slightly just as they were heading in and out of an apex and forcing the driver to do the same and powering away, buying yourself 2 or 3 tenths a second. This is the sort of thing at the moment that Verstappen has got to try and do, although at the moment under DRS, well no, he's got himself back there. Hulkenberg did have the lead for a second and has had to give it back again, and those two are exchanging like anything. But now this is Lance Stroll, and he's going in the moment in a McLaren sandwich. But what is it about the Racing Points that seem to have the jump at the moment on last year's car at the moment over the Mercedes?
Well, we're not really sure. They're very, very close to these McLarens, mind you. Sainz has had an incredibly good race to get right up behind his teammate as well, but Racing Point have obviously found something that Mercedes have not, because they're currently having a better season. As we do go back to this battle for the lead, which has been going on, changing places constantly. The racing director got a bit bored of it and went to go look at third place, but even so, it's excitement all the way across the grid so far.
It is indeed. At the moment, between the top 8, there's about a second that separates each of them, and this has been where the battle is, and you can hear the Dutch fans cheering as they're watching their man trying to make a move to go around the outside. And what's that contact again? Has Hulkenberg been able to do it? Either way, he's got himself a bit of a gap. We're over the halfway mark of the Dutch Grand Prix. Max Verstappen has got DRS, powers on through and going wide, and locking up in the process there was Verstappen, and Hulkenberg forced to go wide.
Well, I think Hulkenberg avoided a collision there. There was a big lock-up as, here we go, George Russell fighting with the Racing Point again. He's holding the inside line. Sainz might have a sniff up the inside if he's not careful, but he's held his line well. Sainz is... Lance Stroll is looking very punchy in this section, and here we go up the inside. 3, 4, 5 cars side by side.
And now is an opportunity to go around the inside for Lewis Hamilton to get past Pierre Gasly, which would you hope he could do so. There's Mick Schumacher also involved in the battle, and Sebastian Vettel is also in. So that is the top 9, and they can pretty much see all the way through from third, right the way through. And Lance Stroll, he's got the soft tyres. It's definitely going to give him more grit than the hard tyres. The question is, we'll have to pit again. Will George Russell's strategy work? Will he be able to stay out Looks like a bold call at the moment from the McLaren team, and this is a bold bit of driving at the moment as both cars are side by side. Lewis Hamilton is doing everything he can at the moment in that Mercedes, but he's been able at long last to get past Pierre Gasly, but he's still 1.7 seconds behind 5th place Carlos Sainz, and has a lot of work to do, as now we're watching Sebastian Vettel try to brake and go around the outside into turn 1 past Pierre Gasly, and this allows Mick Schumacher, who if you hadn't been told, was very much driving like his dad in the first couple of races of this season. At the moment he is driving fantastically, not to say that he can't, but he's got that sort of will to win and that steely determination and that ability to do quick lap after quick lap, and he's starting to make his move back up the grid, but this is where the action is. Lap 20 of 36, Max Verstappen leads, Nico Hulkenberg is second. That changes regularly throughout these through this race. There has been more overtaking between here than you would get during traffic sneaking into a lay-by on a motorway. And there's Hulkenberg, who had to give the position back, went off the track again. You've got to think though, if you're Chris Whiteman, the team principal, not going to be happy with some of the damage, perhaps that undercarriage and definitely the side pops at the moment that Ravenwest is going through. It is really in the wars today, as into the pits at the moment comes Verstappen.
Oh, I thought they were racing there, but Verstappen was trying to make it to the pits whilst Hulkenberg was going up the inside. That could have been a horrendous accident. Oh, he's been held up in the pits! He's being held up that he can't go!
And that's brought Mick Schumacher out ahead of him, so he was in for the medium compounds, and he's got away. Well, the medium compound choice, Trevor, is that his plan to go through to the rest of the race? Max Verstappen, does he sort of think that that'll be enough for him to sort of get ahead of Nico Hulkenberg, perhaps on an undercut?
That's 15 laps on a medium tyre. That's risky business. However, oh, that looks like an engine blowing up. Oh, that's not going to be a good sign for, I think that's Giovinazzi who's blowing up. George Russell's going to make that place up.
It's Stroll!
Oh no! He was having such a good race. That might bring out the safety car again, because that's in a dangerous spot, and it has. There we go again. Oh, but look at this. Look how far ahead Hulkenberg is. He might have a pit window here. He could put some new tyres on. He's 3 seconds ahead of Sainz. Where is Verstappen in all this? Verstappen is a long way behind. He might be able to make a pit stop and stay ahead of Verstappen here.
Max Verstappen, by my calculations, could be more than 15 seconds behind. Nico Hulkenberg got to be thinking to make his pit here opportunity, and sometimes Formula 1 is about taking that opportunity, whether it may be. Let's watch for the pit stop. He'll go right to the end of the pit. There's other people coming. Sainz is in, Sebastian Vettel is also in, Pierre Gasly. At the moment the top 4 have all come in out straight away, advantage to being at the end of the pit lane. This is Gasly going, and we're now watching him get away, and as a result of all the changes, and there is Giovinazzi, who's also through. Final pit stop being made. That's Ocon also flying in and flying away, and into the pits comes the other Red Bull. So Hulkenberg has got in and got out. Sainz is second, Vettel is third, Verstappen is fourth, and during those exchanges which has taken place, he was second at one point. George Russell was now down in 7th place, and now Hulkenberg has gone in and got out and got himself a good advantage, but he's got Carlos Sainz, son of Carlos Sainz, the great rally driving world champion, famous of course in the Escort Cosworth of 25 years ago, and here is Sainz in the McLaren, and he's got Sebastian Vettel behind him, but this has been the man at the moment who has put on a bit of a masterclass of opportunism to pit when he did.
Yeah, I think that the scenario fell quite nicely for them, the way the safety car came out just after everyone had started making stops. More importantly, Carlos Sainz and Sebastian Vettel have made massive gains in that pit stop period, finding themselves second and third ahead of Verstappen. Bottas also a big mover in the pit stops. He was 13th a couple of laps ago. He's all about to 6th now. And Russell in between the two Mercedes as well. Schumacher 9th. Bit of a shame for Lance Stroll, obviously, that engine blow up. He was having such a good race, but that has put his teammate Giovinazzi into the points. So swings and roundabouts there for Racing Point, but they'll be bitterly disappointed because I feel like Stroll was certainly challenging for a podium position today.
And no more is the phrase more applicable in Formula 1 than points being prizes. And prizes is prize money, and that is the ability to invest. So from Giovinazzi in the Racing Point, that one World Championship point will mean so much to his side and to his team and to himself. Here at the moment in 4th place is Max Verstappen. Ahead of him is Sebastian Vettel. And looking at the tyre choices at the moment, a lot of people at the moment moving on to the mediums, perhaps to get them through to the end of the race, Trevor.
Well, I think initially you asked me if the mediums were a bit of a gamble at this stage in the race. I think they're pretty much a go-to at this stage now. Obviously the safety car period is going to extend the life of those. Verstappen, if anything, is going to lose out a little bit because he went on those tyres a little bit earlier than everyone else. So later on in the race, we don't know how much of a difference that'll make tyre degradation-wise, although the weather has picked up, so I don't think we're going to get any more change, and if anything, the temperature's just going to go up trackside. So I think everyone's probably going to be on the mediums for the rest of this race now.
Well, the weather has picked up and it's been a lovely sunny afternoon here in the Netherlands, in Zandvoort, and we're watching everybody go. Interesting to see George Russell. Did he stay on the hard tyres or has he moved to a medium compounds? We'll have to wait and see.
He's moved to mediums. Bottas is on the hard tyres, strangely enough. That's probably what ended up putting him in that position, because he pitted after the safety car, remember, a couple of laps afterwards and went on the hard, so that's why he's jumped. Lights are off on the safety car, so we're going to be hitting the loud pedal again.
So we're waiting for the moment to go. 13 laps of pure sprint racing, potentially ahead of us at the moment. Nico Hulkenberg leads. In 2nd place is Carlos Sainz, and Sebastian Vettel has jumped himself all the way into 3rd place, and we are getting set to go. We're waiting for the key moment for the safety car to come in, and this will be the final moment, and now the power will have to go in. Safety car is in, and we're back under and racing here in Zandvoort in the Dutch Grand Prix, and we're back up and ready to go, and Hulkenberg and that Bugatti is flying. Look at McLaren, but also look at the Ferrari at the moment of Sebastian Vettel. Absolutely fantastic.
Well, I think Hulkenberg got the jump on everyone. He maintained that pace wonderfully, but Carlos Sainz and that McLaren, they're no slouch in the corners, and they're certainly keeping in touch. Look, he's not getting away. He might even have a go.
And here is an opportunity there for Carlos Sainz, and Will Hulkenberg, he goes wide, and as a result is able to slingshot himself back into the race. And Sebastian Vettel and Max Verstappen are also involved in this 4-way conflict at the moment for the lead of the Formula 1 Grand Prix. And Pierre Gasly at the moment has got himself down into 5th place. Brilliant work there by the Frenchman, but the battle at the moment is for the lead, and Hulkenberg now leads. 2nd is Sainz, and now Carlos Sainz just thinking about this opportunity. We're waiting for DRS to return, and I'm sure Sainz is thinking, if I can maintain this gap for another lap or so, when DRS is re-engaged, I could have my opportunity to get through. Could that be his opportunity to challenge and win the Grand Prix? We shall wait and see. Sebastian Vettel is 3rd in the Ferrari. Max Verstappen is in 4th and needs to know that he can get a good run. We're down the start-finish straight, and look at the power at the moment of the McLaren. Absolutely magnificent stuff. And Carlos Sainz is doing everything he can. Can he squeeze his way through as they head into turns 2? Will they brake heavily into the left-hander in turn 3? Yes, he can. And a McLaren leads the Dutch Grand Prix, and that hasn't happened since 1985.
Well, that Renault engine really showing its teeth there. We didn't expect there to be quite the power difference. And look at Vettel going up the inside of Hulkenberg, side by side.
Oh, look at that! Oh, Hulkenberg goes wide! Hulkenberg goes wide, and he's off, and coming on, and now Verstappen might open the door for him. Hulkenberg looks to close it, but Hulkenberg at the moment so lucky. Gone off on a little bit of rallying, and somehow has survived. That was outstanding how he's able to hang on to the race at the moment. But it's Sainz leading, and Hulkenberg sending one into the corner at the moment. Hector Gonzalez-esque in that moment, and how he came so close last season. So Sainz leads. Vettel is 2nd now. Vettel, absolutely outstanding performance as they come round to complete lap 25 and start lap 26. And this is 10 laps left of this quite brilliant and action-packed Dutch Grand Prix. And there isn't a lot that separates the top 4. I make it about nearly half a second, Trevor.
Yeah, it's very close. That overtake initially by the McLaren was before DRS has even been reactivated, so that was just raw power from the McLaren standpoint. I wonder if that damage has really affected the Ravenwest, because it's got on the car. But look at this, the top four absolutely flying as a pack at the front here. It's going to be very close.
Well, we talk about diffusers and all the sort of works that happens underneath. Has that affected the ability of its aerodynamic package on the Ravenwest? We shall see. Hulkenberg, though, is still driving like a man possessed, but you've got Sebastian Vettel, who's doing everything he can to hold him up. But at the same time, he's got to be thinking, get past Sainz. There could be a chance here of pulling away and braking heavily and locking up that front right. That was Sebastian Vettel, but he's got away with it. I wonder if he just sort of didn't gamble. Sainz braking as heavily as he did. Verstappen also looking to try and get a go on Hulkenberg, but would you believe it, after 1 minute and 11 seconds, once again another lap is completed at Zandvoort, and Hulkenberg is looking to try and get past Nico Hulkenberg. It'll be a real one for the line, but in the end he just doesn't quite have the pace. Tries to go around the outside again. Bravely done as well, but holding his line well is Sebastian Vettel, who maintains it. They through turns 4, 5, and they make their way all the way down. And that was excellent work at the moment. But still, defensive requirements available. 4, 5, and 6. They're making their way through this lovely little left-right section, and looks to be an opportunity there. Hulkenberg has been able to get past Verstappen. Momentarily had got through. Now they're round and heading down into the next turn. The next turn is turn 10. They're through that, and wide again is Hulkenberg. It's not going well for Hulkenberg. He's down into third place, and Verstappen will know this will be the real drive. Got to get the power as they make their way into the sharp turning right-hander, then the left-hander, which is turns 11 and 12. Power on, everything you've got. Brake at the 50-yard marker, turn 13. In they go, power away, almost take the apex twice. Continue that power and let the car drift wide naturally. Now is the opportunity for Hulkenberg, who swings left, swings right, and swings past Sebastian Vettel. But Vettel is held up at the moment by Carlos Sainz. It allows Hulkenberg to take the place. Nico Hulkenberg has got through there, and Hulkenberg is forced back again by Sebastian Vettel, and so close these two. The racing at the moment is absolutely amazing, and Hulkenberg has got himself up into second place. But the beneficiary of that was Carlos Sainz, because that's got him a bit of breathing room. Verstappen is past Vettel, who's now down to fourth, and just like that you can go from second to fourth in the blink of an eye. And at the moment this is quite magnificent.
Well, Verstappen just nipped through the Ravenwest side gap that was beside Sebastian Vettel there. Very opportunist overtake from the Dutchman, and he's put himself into a good position here. Hulkenberg having a terrible time of controlling that car. Oh, as Sainz looks up, but I think that front wing, if you look at the front wing of that Ravenwest, it is absolutely battered. Bits missing off it. It's a miracle that he's stayed in the position that he's in.
Well, it's very much a case of man and machine in perfect harmony, but when it's not, it's down to sometimes a case of willpower and bravery, and that is what Nico Hulkenberg is showing you here. The willpower to stay in the race and the bravery to do so on a car which isn't working as well. Carlos Sainz locks up, and there goes Hulkenberg through again, just for a couple of seconds at the moment, because coming back, that's very close, and Verstappen trying to get his way through and seeing the opportunity in the gap, and as Verstappen found his way past the McLaren, he has indeed, and once again Hulkenberg and Max Verstappen are challenging for the lead. But don't discount Sainz and Vettel, who are also involved in the four-way battle. Verstappen in that Mugen Red Bull trying everything he can do to get himself behind Hulkenberg, but at the moment this is getting deadly close, and the serious risks and just how much these drivers are willing to go for this race, it's just absolutely unbelievable. And there goes Verstappen finding his mark and getting past Hulkenberg. Will the power of the Bugatti be able to follow him through? This will be a key point. Verstappen will just hopefully shut the door, and Hulkenberg looks to try and go wide, and that again forces Hulkenberg to go down to third place because Sainz has made a move. Hulkenberg comes back as we go through the final two right-handers into the start-finish straight.
Look at the power difference. Look at that. The gap's gobbled up in seconds.
Well, the power is there on the straights for the Ravenwest. The cornering ability might well be at the moment with Max Verstappen.
Well, it's also another thing worth noting. You've got 4 different engine constructors here at the front of the race. You've got a Mugen-powered Red Bull, a Bugatti-powered Ravenwest, who's going up the inside here as he very brave, not quite. You've got Ferrari, and then you've got a Renault-powered McLaren. You've also got the Mugen of Gasly behind as well, and Mercedes in 6th place. So you've got 5 different engines in the top 6. This is incredible.
Magnificent racing that we are watching here in Zandvoort. This is a lovely aerial shot of the 2 drivers as they're going for it. Max Verstappen knows his Red Bull doesn't have the power available, technically speaking, to get past them, but he does have the cornering ability, and he does have at the moment a real sort of part of him which is just continuing to go at the moment, and this is brilliant at the moment. The AlphaTauri of Pierre Gasly is in 5th place ahead of Valtteri Bottas in 6th. A reminder, George Russell and Lewis Hamilton are 7th and 8th, and Max Verstappen going round the inside through into turn 1 at the moment of Max Verstappen, and Sebastian Vettel also involved, and there seems to be no way of separating these drivers. This race is just building and building and building and building, and it may go to a fabulous crescendo today.
Well, look at this. Basically the top 10 in a really long train here. Look how close all the cars are. Vettel's on an absolute charge as well. Oh, was there a little bit of contact? Maybe just a little bit. But they've managed to keep it together. But Vettel's on a flyer right now as well. This is really anyone's race. And here he goes.
And here goes Vettel. Can he hold him off? Vettel past Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg coming back. These 2 German drivers exchanging places and blows quite brilliantly here in the Dutch Grand Prix. Carlos Sainz, the Spaniard, in 4th, trying to get past the hometown hero from the Netherlands in 3rd place. The winner last season, of course, was Max Verstappen. Will it be history repeating itself? Will art imitate light today? We will find out. And Verstappen has been able to find his way through. There goes Sebastian Vettel again. And this is going and going and going, and this is bringing everybody closer and closer together. The DRS zones have brought almost the top 11. I looked at that. No, the top 12 pretty much together. Very, very close. The biggest gap at the moment is between places at 13 and 14. That's Grosjean that's in the other Red Bull. But now we're looking with the Red Bull that all of the Netherlands have got their eyes on. Max Verstappen, Sebastian Vettel, trying to find a way past Nico Hulkenberg, and that is not an easy thing to do, but Vettel has done just enough to get past Hulkenberg, who is looking to squeeze his way through. Up on the inside, he goes off the track again. He has driven like a man, absolutely possessed today. This has been outstanding racing at the moment, but here goes Sebastian Vettel just trying to hold off. Lap 32 of 36, 4 laps to go. Trevor, how do you predict this race finishing?
There could be anyone in the top 8, to be honest. This is just biblical scenes right now. Oh, there's a lock-up from Hulkenberg. He has to go over the curb. He's really pushing those tyres to the edge, but he is using every single millimetre of the track and a little bit more to try and get past. He really is driving the absolute teeth off that car. Sainz might think about a little go if those 2 continue to fight. Look at the sparks coming off the Ravenwest as well. See if that grunt can get him past Vettel down the start-finish straight, and it does. Look at that. He's got so much power to use on the straight. It is just... There's not much you can do about it. It very much reminds me of that BMW Williams back in 2003. But look, Vettel's fighting back in the Ferrari. They're going to be side by side in this section. He holds his line really well. Oh, but a big lock-up. Just holding it together. But this is a real scrap for the lead here as Vettel's going to come back.
And how are Nico Hulkenberg's tyres holding up? How is his undercarriage? How is his diffuser? How's his front wing? How's his bottle? Because at the moment he's on a car that probably isn't the best of nick. But at the moment he knows that there is a race win available, because that Bugatti-powered Ravenwest has more power than anybody else in the start-finish straight. Heading into turn 1, the best opportunity to overtake. But he seems to have lost a bit of time. We've seen some lock-ups at the moment, and it's allowed Max Verstappen with the opportunity now to chase down. Sebastian Vettel leads. This is amazing. There's another lock again. There's got to have been something wrong with the brake balance at the moment on that Ravenwest, Trevor.
He's really struggling. I think he's pushing the tyres to the absolute limit, and it's really showing. But that power is just keeping him in the game here. Because on these straight parts, it is just ridiculous how quick this thing is.
And with that, he's able to pull out nearly 0.3 of a second, which might not sound much, but in Formula 1, that's about a couple of weeks. That's the distance that Nico Hulkenberg was able to accelerate away from Max Verstappen down into that straight. So we're waiting for an opportunity here for Hulkenberg. Will he try and make his move as we're watching on board with him? Jinking left, jinking right. That's also some good work defensively there from Sebastian Vettel. He's a 4-time world champion, and not because he was just in the best car. He was the best driver for 4 years for a reason, and when it really came to it, absolutely flew. And look at him, he's doing everything he can in that Ferrari at the moment to stay ahead of Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg has the power. I suspect the downforce is potentially with the Ferrari in the straights. And there is the final two turns, 11 and then through into 12 where the grandstands are. Then they will power up, brake at the 50-yard mark, have to brake suddenly, they'll turn right and look to accelerate up again. There'll be an apex to hit again. Look at him here, there's the drift out, now into the start-finish straight. Looking over to his right is the Bugatti, the power of Hulkenberg, who can just absolutely fly past. But on the brakes as well, wonder if the fresher tyres might also help. Yes it is, the fresher tyres helping again. That is certainly showing, and we are down to the final few moments at the moment of this brilliant Grand Prix.
Well, Hulkenberg buzzing all over the back of that Ferrari like an angry wasp. He won't leave him alone. He's going to be right with him. This is probably going to come down to the final lap, let's be honest. They've pulled out a bit of a gap between Verstappen and Sainz as well, so it's just these two for the minute as he's going up the inside, is he? Will he be able to hold his line? Vettel forces him over the curbs. It's great defensive work from Vettel again, but look at this, Verstappen's closed the gap.
Indeed, Max Verstappen is also involved in this race. We're on lap 35 of 36, so would you believe it? I know it's flown by, but we have one final lap to go. Carlos Sainz is still fourth in the McLaren. Not necessarily sure he's close enough to get involved, and Hulkenberg braking again and doing everything he can to keep himself in the race, but Sebastian Vettel now leads, Hulkenberg second, and Verstappen is third, and we're coming round again for turns 13 and 14 for the final time, and then we will enter the final lap of the Dutch Grand Prix. The power is there all the way at the moment from Hulkenberg, and he's able to get past. Can he outbrake though? Vettel able to go around the outside. That shows you the downforce level and how much the tyres perhaps are working better on that Ferrari. Hulkenberg looking to come back again and go wide again, and goes really deep, really high, and he's in real trouble because Verstappen has gone through. Max Verstappen is into second place. Can Max Verstappen chase down Sebastian Vettel with 2/3 of this lap to go to get himself a win once again at the Dutch Grand Prix? Now Sebastian Vettel leads, Verstappen is chasing him. Hulkenberg is also sitting in third place. He's got the fastest lap. Can he find his way through? He's braking late again as well. Carlos Sainz is also back in this. Now is this between Verstappen and Vettel for the race. Hulkenberg is refusing to give this up. These four Titanic gladiators battling out here today in the Dutch Grand Prix. They're through turns 11, round through into turns 12. We will go to the final through right-handers to settle this. Will this be where the power shows? Can Max Verstappen get through? Can Sebastian Vettel hold on and win the Dutch Grand Prix? There's a brilliant start, excellent drive from Hulkenberg, who has gone all the way. There's three abreast. This is amazing, and Vettel takes it. Sebastian Vettel wins. Max Verstappen has held on for second place. Nico Hulkenberg is third. That was amazing, amazing.
Ferrari's back, Ferrari's back. Fantastico, fantastico. Sei un grande, Seb.
Yes! Sì, ragazzi!
Well, that was outstanding in the final two laps of the race. Sebastian Vettel has done so well in that Ferrari, and a deserved race winner here in Zandvoort. Absolutely brilliant for him, and wonderful to see Sebastian Vettel winning what was an outstanding Grand Prix, Trevor.
It was indeed. It came down to who got... Look how close it was. Couple of car lengths between first and third. But my oh my, it came awfully close, didn't it? The power of Mugen and that Bugatti engines really drawing the best out of Ferrari. But Sebastian Vettel, he's in a bit of a rich vein of form, isn't he? That's two race wins in 5 races, of course. He won the last race of last season. Is Sebastian Vettel back at the top? Well, it looks like it today.
Well, the first man since René Arnoux to win for Ferrari at the Dutch Grand Prix. That was back in 1983. A lot's changed since then, but the celebration of Formula 1 has not. Congratulations, Sebastian Vettel, for an outstanding win. Well, in a finish to a Grand Prix that really was one for the ages. Sebastian Vettel winner. The time was just 1/10 of a second ahead of Max Verstappen. Nico Hulkenberg set the fastest lap, but he came through in third place. Great result for McLaren in fourth and Carlos Sainz. Pierre Gasly in the AlphaTauri, another great result for them to come through in fifth. Disappointed Valtteri Bottas finishing sixth after starting first on one stop, but it did not go well for him. Mick Schumacher gained one place to come through in seventh place with his two stops. George Russell in the McLaren, one of the best drivers of the day, through to 15th, finishing 8th. And George Russell will be delighted there with 4 World Championship points. Antonio Giovinazzi in the Racing Point came 9th after his partner was denied after an engine blew up. Esteban Ocon through in 10th. Disappointingly, Lewis Hamilton, that started 3rd and with 2 stops, finished 12th on a disappointing day in which the Mercedes really fell apart in the race. Lando Norris in the Alfa Romeo and Zoe also coming in the 2 last places. Lance Stroll, Alex Albon and Charles Leclerc all retiring. Charles Leclerc, disappointingly, after that horrible mistake, wiped him out of the Grand Prix. From the Drivers' World Championship standings at the moment, Nico Hulkenberg has pulled in a 15-point lead ahead of Sebastian Vettel, that's in second place. Great work from him. Lewis Hamilton's poor Grand Prix brings him down into third place. Mick Schumacher is also now level with Lewis Hamilton, but also behind. Max Verstappen will be pleased to get back on things. He's at 26 points, but he's about 24 points. A good unanswered race win away from Nico Hulkenberg in the Ravenwest, who's starting to set the pace here in Formula 1. From the constructors' standpoint, Ravenwest moved to the top of the leaderboard, 32 points ahead of Red Bull. Mercedes, a disappointing day for them, but they move into third. Ferrari will be pleased with their gains. They're through into fourth in that race. As for us, we're back next at Monte Carlo for the Monaco Grand Prix, returning after its year-long hiatus. If the action's anything like this, the action around Monaco should be absolutely outstanding. From Trevor and myself and everyone on the Virtual Sports Network, thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Baby,